because of the fact that we've been ingrained to believe that have to we have to go to work, do the work for the money instead of doing it for the love. And it's kind of like now, in a sense, people are starting to wake up now, in a sense, especially now that we got social media and anyone can create a life for themselves, basically.
That's right. Exactly. There's pressure to perform and to produce. I think it was very heavy in the 80s, where my dad was living in New York City and running his own company. A lot of pressure. Today, I believe there's similar pressures, but I do think it's a little better. People talk more about family, work, life balance than they did when my dad was experiencing his health setback. So I think we've made some strides, but Cheval, I think especially entrepreneurs and those who are responsible for the profits of the company still feel stress about the employees, making sure they can provide a good life for the employees and for the clients or customers or whatever their business is. I think there's still a lot of stress. The idea, though, is if we don't take care of ourselves, right, if we don't have proper nutrition, exercise, sleep, then we won't be at our best and we won't perform our best. So the tide is changing slightly in that we're understanding you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if we want to do our best job at work, we really better take care of ourselves so that we are our best for everybody else. Instead of, I'm not important, I just have to get the work done, get the next client situated. We need to realize we can do that better if we have energy, if we have a clear mind, if we have a sense of purpose, if we feel good about our social connections, if we feel good about our relationships with those around us and with those at work, we'll be more productive and be able to really give our best selves, our authentic selves, to those around us.
That's really awesome. Now, what is really interesting is that you actually said this on a show, a recent appearance on a dear friend of ours show. You said about if someone can just walk, so I just kind of went out of the and changed their rain was you mentioned on a show there mutual friend of ours show
Yes.
that you said that if we walk if we move around 10 minutes a day, that can bring stimulus to our brains, basically.
Yes. Do you want me to talk a little bit about that? Okay. So
Yeah, you can elaborate.
okay, terrific. I love this topic. So most people think about exercise and think about the heart, which is right. Exercise is really good for our heart and our cardiovascular system. We can reduce blood pressure. We can reduce our resting heart rate. We can reduce cholesterol. We can do a lot of good by exercising. We can even increase insulin sensitivity. What we don't tend to think about is the brain, what exercise does to the brain. And a lot of physicians don't know this. It's fascinating work. We now know that after exercise, you get a bump, an increase in BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is also called miracle grow for the brain. I love that term. And it does just that. It helps neurons to make new connections, new synapses, and it actually increases neurogenesis, creating more neurons, increasing the number of neurons in your brain. All very good. Research shows us that if you look at MRIs, you can look at a specific part of the brain called the hippocampus. That is a part of the brain that is intricately involved in consolidating memories. So If you want to keep your memory for a long period of time, exercise it should be on your list. One half of people who are 85 or older, one half of them have memory problems. One half. So if you want to be in the half that does not have memory problems, I recommend exercise because research shows it will increase the volume of your hippocampus, that part of the brain involved with consolidating, putting together, storing memories. So we know that exercise is so powerful. Well, how much do we need? That's the question. What kind, how much? And there's a lot of research still going on around that. But the recommendation is to get, and I don't know, Cheval, I don't want to put you on the spot, but to accumulate 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity in the week, which is like a half hour, 5 days a week. You can do it that way, or split it up. If you want to exercise more on the weekends, you could be doing a half hour both days on the weekend, or you could be doing an hour both days on the weekend. Depends upon your schedule. But you want to accumulate 150, and then you get all the benefits that exercise can give to all your organs, including your brain. Now, the 10 minutes comes from the United States Health and Human Services Department. Hold all the data, something like 8,000 studies that were done on exercise, and created recommendations, looking at all the data, all the research, all the benefits that had been documented. They found that if you exercise 10 minutes, yes, just 10 minutes every day, for a total of 70, just 70 minutes, 10 minutes a day, your chances of getting sick or dying go down dramatically if you're starting at a sedentary level. That's sitting most of the day. So the actual definition of sedentary behavior is sitting the majority of the day. And here's the thing. If you are not exercising 3 days a week, three days a week for 30 minutes for 3 months. So you've got to be doing it 3 days a week, 30 minutes at a time for 3 months. If you're not doing that, you're considered sedentary. And if you're considered sedentary, you have an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. So sedentary behavior is a risk factor for heart attack and stroke. So I don't know if it's possible for you to stand, given where your computer is. I think I might be able to. Let's just see. If you can stand, okay, I am. I'm not standing. So if you can stand for part of this interview, that would be terrific because you would have a few minutes of movement. I'm actually walking a little bit as we have this interview, just because I reminded myself of the dangers of sedentary biology. The physiology of just sitting actually is dangerous. So I see you're not standing. That's okay, Cheval. That's okay. It might just be good for you, and you have to do what's right for you. But later, you might want to stand. Okay. So does that help answer your question or get to the point?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. That's great because I mean we all need this basically, and it is really fascinating because of the fact that many of us the whole system is work at the desk 8 to 5, without moving much and you can't leave or whatever, and it's about to change. So I think that's really great for us to know. But I gotta ask this question about
Sure.
how did social media helped your business?
Social media. Yeah, so really interesting social media, actually, because I was a social media phobic. I'm not sure there's a real diagnosis for that, but I was not interested in social media at all. No. In fact, afraid of it. Didn't want to get involved. Didn't want to put myself out there. It also takes time. So I avoided it. The only thing I did for a very long time, probably for 5 or 6 years, was LinkedIn, because that's very professional. You set up your account, you connect with people. It seemed as if I didn't have to have interaction. You would connect or not connect, and that would be it. And I wasn't very involved with messaging or posting or anything. So That worked for me really, really well. Then in April of this year, so April 2017, our Department of Physical Medicine Rehabilitation at Harvard, we're based at Spalding Rehab Hospital. We have a lot of great research that we're doing and great programs. I think my program is good. It's a stroke wellness group, and I work with stroke survivors and their caregivers on paving the path to wellness, helping them adopt healthy eating, movement, sleep, stress management. But who would know about this? Nobody knows. So the department said we're all doing great things, but nobody knows what we're doing. We have to get up with the times. Yes, we're physicians, but we need to promote our programs in order for them to survive and thrive. So they encouraged us to get on Twitter and to post. So I have a colleague, Dr. Julie Silver, who is on Twitter also, and she basically set me up, taught me. I'll never forget, I didn't know how to tweet. I didn't know how to retweet. I didn't understand if someone did it at Beth Frates, that meant they wanted you to retweet that, or this tagging. There's a whole sort of world of Twitter that I did not know. And this whole, well, follow, who do you follow? What's unfollowing? What does it mean if you follow someone? It's a whole world that I'm actually just figuring out. If I've even figured it out, I'm not sure I have. But I found it to be remarkably fun. Talking, it was enjoyable. It wasn't drudgery, because I like learning about other people. I like learning what other people are doing, and people post. It's fascinating. It's great to see what other people are doing and posting. I am involved with many different physician groups, and I'm also involved with other groups, patient groups. And I feel like I've gotten a lot out of Twitter. In fact, I have actually made friends. I've made friends from Twitter. That I would never have met. Some are not even in this country, certainly not in my state, not in my department. So how have I benefited? Well, personally, I've gained some friends and great Twitter friends, some colleagues that I might be presenting with. I've gotten opportunities like this and other podcasts to do because of Twitter. But in terms of business, and I know you have a business bent, which I admire and respect, I don't. So in terms of my business or business practices, I'm not sure, the impact really that it's had or will have. We'll see. I am going to write a book. I've got my book proposal, and I'm finishing up the work on that. Hopefully this year. And I have been told that you need to have a following of some kind, a platform of some kind. And they have asked me how many people are following you on Twitter. So I guess that will help, that I have I have some followers. So I think it helps if you have some followers, because then the publicist thinks, okay, well, she could potentially sell this book. There are people who are listening to her, right? So that might help me.